I wanted to find out what happens if I commit to doing several flying 30-meter sprints every sprint session. No gimmicks, just top and speed work, over and over. Would it make me faster or just wear me out? I've been doing it for 2 weeks to find out, and the results surprised me. So I've been sprinting regularly, but I felt like my top end speed wasn't improving. That smooth floating phase when you really open up after your driving phase. So I changed things up a little bit. I kept my usual acceleration work to stay sharp off the line, but started adding more flying 30 reps into each session, really focusing on hitting that max velocity zone. And at the end of each session, I threw in A marches to reinforce good mechanics and help retrain my nervous system after going fast. Most of my sessions followed a simple, repeatable format. I started with feed the cat style warm ups, short, sharp, and low fatigue, involving the A marches, A skips, involving jumps, bounding, and involving prime times to warm up the hamstrings. After that, it was usually one clean acceleration rep, then two flying 30-meter sprints with a 30-meter run up, and that was the core of it. After the sprints, I finished with A marches in the last 2 weeks. It felt like the pattern I needed to work on the most, just to slow things down and keep things in check. I kept accessory work like strength and mobility on my non track days. Nothing crazy, the focus was always on top speed, low volume, and max intent. But by the end of the second week of incorporating flying 30s, I began to notice something. My right heel on the very last day began to get very sore, especially after the rep. So on July 4th, it felt a little bit more than usual, and I had to cut that session short. My original plan was to push my flying 30 reps to 3 instead of 2, but I knew I had pushed the edge a little bit. There wasn't really one breakthrough moment, it was more about consistency. But that session on July 4th really stood out. I had to push a little harder than usual to maintain form. I could feel myself working hard to stay smooth, and maybe that extra bit of effort was when my right heel started to flare up. And the weird part, that same session, I ran one of my fastest flying 30 meters in similar weather conditions, similar setup, so it was progress, but it came with a small cost. It wasn't a perfect rep or a big performance jump, but it felt like the work was being stacked. I was getting faster, even if my body was starting to push back a bit.
So after 2 weeks, it didn't feel like I was more relaxed or smoother when I was running. It felt like I was doing the same work actually, but I was just a little bit more consistent. And in these 2 weeks, the two cues I was thinking about were to not to overstride one, and number two, to strike underneath my center of mass. This way I can maintain a more efficient sprinting posture, even though it might not feel drastically different from what I was doing before. A big revelation I had though was how rarely I trained top speed before. I did a lot of acceleration and strength work, which helped me build a good starting base, but max velocity was a different challenge altogether. It helped me focus and reminded me that I should be keying in on the subtle details. So did I learn something absolutely totally new? Not exactly, but it did help me reinforce a simple truth that if I want to get faster at top speed work, I need to be training at top speeds. And I am now wrapping up my first 4-week sprinting training block. I am going to be taking a deload next week to allow my body to recover. And after that, we'll pick things back up and see where they take us. Thank you guys for watching and for following.